Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. The football shit talking is going to run through me faster than Rex Ryan's jambalaya perna.
The only thing faster than him was that jambalaya that ran through me last night. That is the only thing that was faster than that.
Now, I would say that Rex really put his foot in his mouth there, but that's kind of the goal with Rex. Today, I'll recap all of the Sunday Week 9 football games, and by the end of this episode, you'll be calling me the Jamarcus Russell of football commentating, because it will become clear that I didn't really watch the tape for half of these games. That's good sports. Please, if you're new to this channel, give it a sub. You can also click the freaking little notification button. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. Use my promo code ThatsGood and SeatGeek will give you $20 off of your first ticket purchase. There's a link in the description to get you to SeatGeek. Now, I use SeatGeek to get football tickets, not to the Broncos games anymore, but any kind of tickets you want. NFL games, NBA games, NHL games, concert tickets, comedy tickets. You get the point. Tickets, you get them at SeatGeek. Now, SeatGeek aggregates tickets from all over the internet, puts them in one convenient location for you, and then ranks the ticket prices with a green rating or a red rating. And you can always preview your seat before you buy it on SeatGeek, which is a really cool feature. So again, my promo code ThatsGood will save you $20. Link description. You know how it goes. The Chicago Bears defeat the Buffalo Bills 41-9. I knew the Bears were going to win this game as soon as I saw that Mitch Trubisky was dressed as Andrew Luck for Halloween. Last week he was Mike Ditka. This week he was Luck. Next week, when he accidentally shops at rich debutantes of Carolina, he'll be Cam Newton. Which is fitting because that's who he most resembles in terms of QB style. Now, our beloved Nathan Peterman entered halftime of this game 12-19 for 75 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, per Adam S. Titties, that is good enough to raise his career passer rating from 31.4 to 31.5. I checked Peterman's Twitter. His first sentence in his description states he's a follower of Christ. And I hate to be the one to tell you this, Nathan, but I don't think Christ followed back. You know what's crazy? The Bears sat Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson each of the last 2 weeks and have won those 2 games by a combined 46 points. I have no idea what that means, but since the NFL is a copycat league, I think other teams are going to try and copy the Bears and play the Jets and Bills every week. The Dolphins defeat the Jets 13-6. Dolphins linebacker Kiko Alonso was walloped out of bounds after picking off Sam Darnold in the first quarter. That late hit took place at 1:37 Eastern Standard Time, and at that exact same moment, Joe Flacco got exactly 3 brain cells back from Alonso. Jet safety Jamal Adams single-handedly stopped the Dolphins in the red zone, first by knocking Frank Gore backwards, something Father Time can't even do, and then on a blitz by tipping a Brock Osweiler pass. Jamal Adams is the best player on the Jets roster right now. If I can borrow from Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a bad football team if your best player is a safety. Trust me, Ed Reed was one of the best safeties to ever play the game, and he wasn't even the best player on his own defense. Having a safety as your best player is like saying the best part of the movie was the ending credits with the bloopers. Frank Gore passed Barry Sanders on the all-time scrimmage yardage list in this game, and Sam Darnold took sole possession of the top interception performer of the season. 4 INTs in this game, 14 on the year, making him, not Nathan Peterman, most likely to break Peyton Manning's interception record. Detroit Lions get lost by the Vikings 24-9. The first play of this game was great foreshadowing by the Lions scriptwriters. I knew right here they were going to let the Vikings sack Matthew Stafford 10 times. Has any quarterback ever won a game after being sacked 10 times? Has any QB ever lived to play another game after being sacked 10 times? The Vikings got back in the win column, but unfortunately, they couldn't get Adam hooked on a Thielen 100 yards in the process. And ironically, he lost his streak against the Lions, probably because he was haunted by the ghost of Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson isn't dead, but honestly, has anyone seen or heard from him since he retired? I haven't. The Lions couldn't take advantage of a fumble recovery from A'Shawn Robinson, who looks like this when the hair in his face is transported to his head. I'm not sure why this was created, but I now know I can't live without it. This is like a smartphone. 10 years ago, I had no idea I needed one, and now, just like this picture, I will stare at it every day for hours. This made me wonder what other players this would work for. We've got beard head swapped Matthew Stafford. We've got upside down Tyquan Underwood, who looks a lot like Eric Weddle, and the most alarming, Bill O'Brien. What happens when his chin becomes his head? Oh dear God, a Cyclops! Look away, kids! Look away from Bill O'Brien! Atlanta Falcor defeat the Washington Redskin Potatoes. I guess Dan Quinn gave his team some really lame t-shirts to wear this week. Shirts that say, "Own now." I hope that's real estate advice. Otherwise, those are some dorky ass shirts to make men in their early 20s wear. I guess it worked though, because the Falcons beat the shit out of Washington under the condition that they would never have to wear shirts that say "Own now" ever again. Julio Jones accumulated 898 yards before scoring his first touchdown of the season with 3:45 left in the game, leaving NFL fans with 0 fun streaks left to root for. Alex Smith just about got murdered at the end of this long run, but he pops right back up, completely unfazed. It was like when you're roughhousing with your cousins as a kid and one of them got knocked over and you figure there's a 50-50 chance they'll either bounce right up or burst into tears. And Alex Smith ain't no Derek Carr. Unfortunately though, it was all for naught as Speaker of the House Ryan defeats Secretary of Defense Clinton Dix in Washington. Ben, I do get knocked down and then cry and then come back into the game so people think I'm tough Roethlisberger and the Steelers defeat the Ravens. Prior to this game, Ian Rappaported that Ravens head coach John Harbaugh might be on the hot seat and could lose his job if the Ravens miss the playoffs. This game didn't exactly help. And as a Broncos fan, I couldn't agree more that John Harbaugh needs to go. He's lost his ability to coach and he needs to go. But just to be sure, he should go to Denver on a 5-year contract just to prove that he's a lousy coach and he'll never win again. Just don't bring Joe Flacco with you. For Pittsburgh, James Conner went over 1,000 scrimmage yards on Sunday. He had 163 total yards on the day, 107 on the ground, and however many receiving yards it takes to total 163 on the day. Le'Veon Bell gets closer every week to giving up his entire $14.5 million salary in the name of preserving his body for the future, which at this point is the philosophical equivalent of participating in No Nut November. Giving up $14.5 million thinking you'll make it up later is like willingly letting 14.5 million sperm backlog in your sack for 30 days thinking they won't back all the way up into your brain and kill you. That's why I don't partake. Fear of spermicidal CTE. Carolina Panthers destroy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Panthers receiver Curtis Samuel scored an impressive touchdown in this game on a double reverse. Double reverse is also what Uber drivers do when they pull up and see Jameis Winston is their customer. Based on this impression by Cam Newton.
What's up, baby? It's going to be a good game today, all right? Stay focused, all right? Boom. Then when I score a touchdown, it's, oh, I love it. So.
Norv Breakfast at Tiffany's Turner, the Truman Capote of the NFL, is what everyone calls him. If you're a Panthers fan, you have to love the way this offense is playing. Christian McCaffrey is one of the best weapons in the league right now. He was the leading rusher and receiver in this game for Carolina, and with Greg Olsen getting back up into game speed, the Panthers could upset pretty much anyone in the playoffs. Most likely their own fan base, but still. After throwing 4 touchdowns in cold blood, Ryan Fitzpatrick has the exact same touchdown to interception ratio as Tom Brady, 17-7. Not relevant to this game per se, but reminding the football world that Tom Brady is overrated is my civic duty, and I am the best at it. Chiefs pummel the Browns. I have to hand it to Greg Williams, being the defensive genius he is, had the Browns ready to stop Tyreek Hill. He just didn't have a game plan to stop Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt. Kelce and Hunt and their 5 touchdowns are from the Cleveland area. which pretty much means Cleveland can't stop beating themselves. Cleveland produces a lot of NFL talent like Aqib Talib, who scored against the Browns here, or Kyle Juszczyk, who scored against the Browns here, or James Harrison, who suplexed this drunk Browns fan who ran onto the field. Baker Mayfield left the game with an injury, but came back immediately, quickly realizing getting killed on the field is a better fate than getting screamed at by Greg Williams on the sideline. Los Angeles Chargers beat the Seattle Seahawks. An emotional game for the Seahawks, playing in their first home game since the passing of their owner, Paul Allen. Also an emotional game for the Chargers, who are playing for the third time since the passing of their owner, Alex Spanos. Clearly, the Chargers were more sad because they channeled their grief into a huge win. But then again, it's possible the Seahawks were more sad and it caused them to lose, which is also understandable. When you're dead inside like me, it's hard to say how any sort of emotion works. The Seahawks pulled off a sweet touchdown celebration after Jerron Brown caught a laser in the back of the end zone. I'm not sure how this is less distracting than pulling a cell phone out from underneath the goalpost, but more on that later. Chargers kicker Caleb Sturgis missed a field goal and 2 extra points, which pretty much kept the game in reach for the Seahawks. So even in a winning effort, the Chargers ended up cutting their kicker. Again, Caleb said he was gonna kick better.
Well, Caleb's a liar!
Yes, it happened. The Rams finally lose to the Saints. It took 9 games, but someone was finally bold enough to take a stand and proudly beat Goff in front of the home crowd. Who else but Drew Brees? He has a wife and 4 kids, and he still finds the time to sneak off for a few hours and beat Goff on Sunday. An inspiration to men everywhere, really. The Saints used their backup quarterback better than any team in the league. The Ravens would be in that conversation, but Joe Flacco, regardless of how handsome he is a stubborn, jealous bastard who refuses to throw the ball to a wide-open Lamar Jackson. This game, though, this Saints game, was everything football fans wanted. A competitive orgy of touchdowns, and just like real orgies, about half of the players leave feeling physically violated, ashamed, embarrassed, and beelining to take a shower. Saints receiver Michael Thomas had 211 receiving yards and a perfect cell phone reception. See what I did there? He's a receiver, reception, cell phone reception. The celebration was an homage, of course, to former Saints receiver Joe Horn. And Thomas nailed the details, even down to the flip phone. Thomas said that before the game he went to a liquor store and bought the 2 flip phones. Usually, that will arouse suspicion, but Thomas had noble intentions. Unless, of course, you ask Troy Aikman, who I can confirm is anti-technological progress. He hates cell phones, he hates podcasts, and he still believes being gay is a lifestyle choice. Troy Aikman stopped evolving the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers lose to the Patriots. This game was actually tied 17-17 in the 4th quarter, with the Packers driving to take at least a field goal lead. And then Aaron Jones fumbles the ball and all hell breaks loose. The theme of Aaron Rodgers' own teammates and referees being his worst enemy continues in 2018. This game all but proves that Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Just look at those 3 touchdowns Tom Brady ran for. Or when Tom courageously took that hit to get the roughing the punter call. Or when he ejected the Packers safety for slapping David Andrews in the face mask. Because the most dangerous thing you can do to a man in the NFL is slap him in the metal bars that protect his face from violent collisions every play with your palm. Or when Tom injured half of the Packers defense. Or when Tom forced that fumble by Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers didn't do any of those things for his team. That is how true GOATs play the game. The one thing, though, Tom Brady is unquestionably better at than Aaron Rodgers is getting drafted by Bill Belichick. Nobody can argue that, either side of the aisle. And those are your Week 9 Sunday recaps. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it's @BrandonPerna. I do more football bullshit there. And we do a podcast every Thursday. Will Keys and I, who helps me write these episodes. That's Good Sports Podcast. It's on iTunes, Podbean, or my second channel, That's Good Podcasts.